Well, I see Trump is really still stirring up the mess or creating a mess. Oh, they all like breaking things, I think. And I get some feedback from the thing I did yesterday about what he was doing at USIA and closing that. And that's not even clear on what he's doing yet. And it's not through the courts. The courts don't think we did what is legal yet. And people, I see feedback say, I'm not a lawyer. Yeah, you're right, I'm not. And other people said, well, Trump is trying to solve problems that Biden created. And I don't think I'm criticizing that at all. We have to cut our government. I mean, the government has got too big because we lay new programs on top of old programs, and they keep growing and growing and growing. And you're right, somebody has to cut this stuff down. And but what I'm angry at Trump is how he's hurting people by cutting it down. I mean, he is, there's thousands and thousands of people at USIA that woke up one day and they were fired. No reason, no nothing. He's fired. Yep. And because he doesn't like giving money to other countries that are in need. Okay, I mean, that's a valid point, Okay, but you don't, fire 8,000 people in America and make them unemployed and need help because of your whim. And that's the thing. And I think what's happening, and the way I see it, is that the middle and the lower class have been screwed for 50 years now. So if you're the bottom half, in other words, if you're not the top 10%, the top 10% is doing very well in our country. But it's the bottom 90% that is not doing well at all. And they haven't grown their income in 50 years. And so now there's thousands of people now that have no income. That's adding to this problem. and that's not fair. I mean, sure, we have to fire people, we have to do it. But you have to do it in a nice way. These are your neighbors. We live together. These are all Americans that are neighbors that we're trying to help. And you just don't throw them out of the street because of politics. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. And another thing, because people don't have enough money to live on, so their wages are not increasing. It grew only 30% over like the last 45 or 50 years. Wages grew only 35, about 35% over the last 50 years. But prices increased 300%. So 90% of us had a wage increase of 30%, but cost of living went up 300%. So right, nobody could afford anything. And what's happening? We're creating more poor people in our country than anywhere else in the world. Okay, so you're right about sending money to help other poor people. We're creating more poor people. Here's where we should be helping people. And we shouldn't be stepping on them when we try to help them, okay? And that's it. So this is a graph that shows all the developed countries. So all the developed countries, and what percentage of population is in poverty. So of the 30 developed countries, these are the rich countries, okay? So of those 30 rich countries, we have more poor people than any other country. So we have like 17% of the people in this country are living in poverty. 17%. The average is about 7, 8, 9%. And even we're higher than Chile. We're higher than Mexico, Japan, Spain. We have more poor people than any of these countries. Now, I think we had to treat our neighbors first. You're right. Maybe we shouldn't give much foreign aid. I mean, if we want to live in a world community, that's certainly important. So we have to discuss that, not just throw people out on the street because you're trying to cut the budget. The cutting the budget, I think, is very important. But it will happen that they'll they're worrying about fraud and abuse at Social Security and things like that. And the studies I've seen, the fraud there is about 8, 9% or something like that. And not even that, even 4%, depends on these money things are tough. But it's only a couple $2 billion. When you see fraud at the IRS is $400 billion. 400 versus $400 billion in fraud. People don't pay the taxes and they're legally bound to. And $400 billion. I mean, the whole budget for USIA is only like 60 billion or something. And every year, we're screwing the government by not paying our taxes. 400 billion. So there's a lot of places to complain. I just worry that we're picking on the poor people all the time and hurting them because they don't have a voice. The rich people have a voice, right? And so they're and they'll mobilize the rest of us to beat up on people who are less, well, you know what I mean. So that's my motive here. It's not to, my motive is, yes, I think we should cut government spending. It's certainly too big, and we should work on that. But throwing people out in the street in 24 hours doesn't seem, that just creates more poor people. So we have to do this in a human way. I mean, we're human. We're living next to each other. We have to treat people that way. Not that they're all an enemy. Sure, they may have different feelings, but people walk around with different ideas about everything, whether it's religion or personal attractiveness or whatever. And so we have to live with that and make room for each other. And the way you make room is to be nice. Nobody wants to live next to an asshole who's not nice. You can have any kind of politics you want, but if you're not nice, man, that's tough. And so let's try to do that. But right now, okay, so things will be changed, and we get rid of programs probably, and that's good for cutting debt and our deficit, because that's getting, I don't know, we wouldn't run a business that way. We wouldn't run a company that way unless you know government programs to make you to make you keep going. That's why the billionaires are in town, because if they go in financial trouble, they want to know how to use the government too. But that being aside, remember that you have options. No matter what this guy does in Washington to cut things the way he does it, there's more help than you ever would imagine, because everything in our country, okay, the people that give you help in this country, what I call the community economy, okay, the community economy is 40%. The capitalism economy is 60%. Okay, the community economy is where we help each other, okay? And that's a nice thing to do. I think that's a nice human thing to do, to help each other, okay? So there is a lot of help out there, but see, they don't advertise. So you're never gonna find it in Google. All the community stuff, I don't find in Google. Now, I put together a free a free report. If you you download this report, because it shows you 10 programs in the community economy to find free money and help. So you don't go to Google. These are anti-Google websites. So you don't wind up going to Google to find help, that you use these 10 websites to find help where people give you money, okay? Because there's so much more out of there. One of the websites on that list, oh, by the way, here's the website for that. It's called bit.ly. The website is bit, like a bit, 2 bitcoins, bit.ly / and then Lesko top 10. So Lesko top 10, okay? And that's all in small letters. So bit.ly and then Lesko top 10. So you want to go download that report. There's a video on top. So if you're a member or not, you're eligible for that. Anybody, and it's to show you all the programs like Find Help. Okay, now let's go take a look at Find Help right now. I just took, before I went on here, what I did was put my zip code in there, which is 2009, and then I put in financial assistance in my zip code. Okay, I get 697 programs. 697 programs under financial assistance. 600 programs, okay. 697, so that's almost 700 programs. So if you're looking at one program for financial assistance, here's 700 more. So that's why you have options in life you don't know. So that's why if anybody goes around and they cut something out, you have more options than you'll ever realize, okay? Here also, if you go, you put legal help there, because legal help, hey, I can't get legal help because I can't afford $300 for an attorney, and I live in the biggest democracy in the world, and I can't afford it to get democracy because I can't afford an attorney. But here, in my zip code, 269 free attorney, free legal help, 269. Okay, now how would they have thought that? You go to Google, you're going to find just attorneys that want to get your money. That's what they do. They advertise there. So you don't even want to go there. You have trouble with daycare. Okay, if you go to find help in my zip code, there's 400 nonprofit organizations and government offices that in my zip code, that help you. Misty, I hope to start getting those, you know what I mean, the money out today. So 400 for daycare, rent, 77 programs for rent, just in my zip code. Home repair, 224 programs for home repair in my zip code. Emergency funds, 64 organizations in my zip code for emergency funds, okay? Yes, Vito, there's about government cuts. Yeah, they haven't cut anything yet. And what Trump is doing, he's trying to cut and make these changes. And every time the court looks at it, they say he can't do it. So I don't know how long that's going to go back and forth, but keep an eye on that. But just ignore it. If you have a problem, don't pay attention to anything that's going on in Washington now, because all this is show. It's not real stuff yet that's cutting any budget or doing anything. It's just playing games and hurting people in the middle of that. So go on. If there's one thing that doesn't work, then you have to look for another thing. If they pause it for right now, a lot of it is paused for like a week or whatever. Like right now, what they did was the consumer finance, consumerfinance.gov. That's a government agency that protects you against the wolves on Wall Street and the payday loan people and things like that. Now the Trump people don't like this, and they're trying to get rid of it because it was a Democrat program to protect people when you get screwed by your credit card. Well, you and I can't fight a credit card company or a bank or anything. You have no power in the system, but the government does have power because they provide licenses for them to be in business. So if the big company like that can't get a license, they can't be in business. So that's why if you contact these companies that regulate the business, you have power because they could put them out of business. So just contacting these government offices and having them write a letter is usually enough to get satisfaction, because they know if they argue with the government and they lose all their business. So if they argue and lose with the attorney, they just have to pay you. So they have a lot more to risk in arguing with the government. That's why these government things are so great for the average citizen who can't afford a lawyer. If you can afford a lawyer, then you don't need them, right? You have a lawyer, fight their lawyers. But most of us don't. So that's consumerfinance.gov. A couple of days ago, they closed Elon Musk closed the thing for a week or something. And they'll come back soon. I don't know, they'll still fight it, but they're trying to get rid of it one way or another. And it's been around for, I guess, about 10 years or so. And they've gotten billions and billions and billions of dollars back for people who ripped consumers off. And like payday loan people, they regulate. Now, what I just read in the paper today, Elon Musk is going to have a new credit card kind of thing in his X, his Twitter, he now calls it X. And this thing is going to be regulated by this office. So I think that sounds like a logical motive for wanting to turn this thing down, have them turned down for a week. But there's still other places to do that. So if consumer finance isn't answering phones today, I got another report that you could do. You download this report, bit.ly, then Lesko Legal Help, Lesko Legal, LEGALHELP. Okay, and it's all small letters. You download that, and you'll find a dozen, 2 dozen, or maybe 3 dozen organizations at your state level that will fight for you and get you justice with anybody who messes you over your money. Whether it's a credit card company, the automobile finance your finance, any financing, money, anything like that, they'll do it. And they'll also, at the state level, you could have your real estate people investigate it. You could have your accountant investigate it. They investigate accountant. You could have your doctor investigate it. You could have your lawyer investigate it. There's government offices that investigate all these people. Even your dry cleaner, they screw up your dry cleaning or whatever. There's an office that controls that, and you could complain to. But all you know about is going to Google and looking for a lawyer. You can't hear the sound quality. That sound quality bad again. God, I forgot. We may have a problem there again. We had that yesterday. Thanks, I've been so stressed. Anybody else? Misty, how do I sound? Should my voice be higher? Sound quality is not the best. I thought it was just me. So Melissa, can you fix that if possible? I just did about everything I know how to do. Okay, I'm gonna have to test it again. The sound is breaking up. Breaking up is hard to do. I'm gonna turn one thing off, my TikTok, and see what that happens. Okay, that's is the sound any better now without that? Could be the weather. Boy, we have a half a foot of snow here in Washington, D.C. I don't think we even have snow plows. So that's a real problem. Sound quality is not the best. God, I wonder, I got to work on that. I keep forgetting and I just go on live. But if I, okay, so on YouTube, yeah, how do you hear it on it? Sound wonderful. Okay, YouTube sounds good. So it's just this. Wonder why. Who wrote the Book of Love? Let's see, maybe I can change the, yeah, okay, I gotta change the, okay, I changed the, how is that? I changed the camera because I have an AI camera on here. So I changed it to the computer camera. Is that any better? The sound is breaking up. It's better. Oh, hey, yeah, it could be. It is better, Colleen. No, that's wonderful. Give me another, somebody else. Irving, do you see it better? Can you put that bit.ly? Oh, that's a good point. Put the bit.ly in the chat. Okay, there's 2 of them. bit.ly/. Oh, it's still in and out. Okay. bit.ly, and then that's the other one. It's Lesko Legal Help. Lesko Legal Help. Did I write that right? Okay. Okay. So it's still breaking up on Lesko Help, folks. You still get a little funky on there. Audio breaking up. Because I'm going to leave you on. Okay, any other members have a question? Losing our home and need to help Emma in the New Jersey, not only if you're affected by COVID, but what about the rest of losing our home? Okay, now, don't worry about it. You want to go, Daniel, if you're losing your home. Findhelp.org and then put in home, put in your zip code. And then home. And start calling the people. You have to start calling a lot of people. The other people you want to call is go to justshelter.org and you'll see local help, I think it's called. And there'll be a state-by-state listing of free lawyers. So you go to justshelter.org and look at free lawyers there, okay, and call them up. Then you go to findhelp.org and put in home, and there'll be all kinds of help. I mean, there's a lot of free help. Request access to doc or DC? Oh, the sound is breaking up. Only catching bits and pieces of information. Request access to doc. What do you mean, Colleen? Is that for me? Colleen, do you hear me okay? I see something. Yeah, it could be the weather. Yeah, certainly. It might be your microphone. Yeah, that's why I sort of changed new microphones. Are you still around? Julietta, are you still around? Does that microphone, my new other microphone, help anymore? Still breaking up. God. Okay. I'm going to say goodbye to YouTubers. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow. And don't forget to download those 2 reports. It's bit.ly and then / Lesko Top 10, then bit.ly, then / Lesko Legal Help. So bit.ly / Lesko Top 10, then bit.ly / Lesko Legal Help. Both of those, tons of free help. And then you have to call. All this stuff is about you calling people on the telephone. If you don't do that, that's not going to help much, okay? So I'm going to tune out of YouTube to see if we get better calling, better audio on Lesko Help.